Hello and welcome to Fortnightly Frontier, the show that does not pretend to know more about Star Citizen than you already do. I am your host, Darionator the Unshaven, and with me is, as always, Loose Unit, the rugby fan.
Am I?
Well, of course you are. You're wearing an all blacks jacket, or, thingy.
Apparently I am, yes.
So what do we have for the internet today, Mr. Unit?
First up, we have the Hyper News, where we give you a rundown of the latest news from the verse. Then we follow up with Major Points, where tonight we'll be discussing upcoming VAT changes and a way to make Darionator poorer. But first, the Hyper News. And we start off with $71 million of crowdfunding has been reached, and there's about $40,000 of money to go before we hit 72 million. So congratulations to the team at CRG Games. Have some more money.
Yes. There was a Persistent Universe Town Hall presentation. In all the released videos, there is altogether 5 hours of panel footage where Chris Roberts, Tony Zurovec, Mark Skelton, and others discuss the state of and plans for the Persistent Universe development. I think I was most excited about the jump gate prototype in action. That was really sweet.
It was pretty nice. The damage state system is being reworked, which has for some reason prevented the Gladius and Gladiator from being made flyable. And we think it may have something to do with the art sneak peek from Around the Verse episode 29. If you just see the end of it, you'll see that. This will make it easier for artists to create damage states and much more procedurally than they have done in the past, as opposed to having to create every single polygon and model and bit and piece that flies off. Speaking of which, congratulations to Around the Verse for surpassing the number of episodes we have made.
Well, it was to be expected. They release an episode every week. They're not as fortnightly as we are. As promised by Chris Roberts, CIG has started putting out more detailed info about the development and design of Star Citizen, starting with the Moby-Glass. The design document, which you can read on the RSI website, is humongous. It actually took me over an hour to read, to be honest, and goes into extreme detail on how the Moby-Glass will function, and it is just another thing to get me really excited about the game. But now for something completely different.
Test is at war with the corporation after some epic gunboat diplomacy. Check out the link below to see the screenshots in action. It was a proposal that went wrong because of hilarity reasons.
A big shout out to Nakara, who has been amazing and posting and transcribing things for a very long time. He has recently launched his own news site, the Imperial News Network, which you can go and check out at imperialnews.network, which I think is one of the most badassest URLs I've read in a while. And on behalf of Test and Reddit community, thank you, Nakara, for your hard work and diligence. We really appreciate everything you've done and look forward to supporting you in the future.
Thank you! And that's it for the Hyper News.
And now for Major Points.
VAT system, the good and the bad. There's now as of February the 1st, there is now a separate European store where because they changed the laws or the regulations inside of Europe, and you have to pay VAT in your local countries, at your local country's rate and to your local country. So
how much is that in Germany?
It's 19%.
It's 22% here, so that smug bastard over there is going to pay a bit less for his ships and t-shirts and stuff than I am.
Not that I'm going to be buying any ships anymore anyway, so it's irrelevant.
I think I have a nice plan for that in the next major point, but do go on.
Yes, I don't actually mind anyway. I'm quite happy to pay the local VAT rate. It's absolutely fine. I really do agree with the changes that have been made because it helps. Yeah, and the good thing about it is currency locked anymore, so that because they're now building a European studio in Frankfurt, which is not too far away from me, they will be able to use the money that's spent in euros to fund directly that. So it makes it easier for them and takes away some of that currency fluctuation. Some of the problems you get from that, where we pay a bunch of euros and then those euros are worth half as much or whatever in a year's time, and they need to, becomes a problem, especially with it being a little bit up and down at the moment. It's a good thing.
More down than up, actually, in regards to the euro, but yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the idea that I was talking about for me to spend more money. It was actually due to a comment that was posted on the previous video about cross-chassis upgrades. So I went into that system and had a very thorough look around, and I discovered that it is not as robust as it could be. I mean, I would much rather spend just a few euros to change the ships that I own to new release ships for the hangar or Arena Commander, so I don't have to buy completely new ships and then regret it 15 minutes later. Which probably has happened before, and I'm not the only one. So I was the way I was thinking was that because if I wanted to upgrade my 315p, I can only upgrade it to a Hornet and an M50, and that's it. But I want a Mustang, and there is no system that allows me to do that at the moment. But I was thinking that comparing the base prices of the ships, if the ship costs more, you pay whatever extra there is to the ship. But if you want a cheaper ship, you would get that as store credit, which you could then spend somewhere else, or maybe even upgrading to yet another different ship to test out. I think that would have almost like the same beneficial effect like whenever they give us a ship line to test for a week, like the Hornet or the 300 series or the Mustang series, which is what really made me want the Mustang. Yeah,
there's the cross-chassis upgrades they have now are good, but they are very limiting because they you can only do what they say you can do. They're not like the value of this and the value of this, or the whatever is this, and then the difference is kind of worked out. And you just move, like for us, we would move our LTI across quite easily to any ship that we wanted to. But they haven't made that particularly easy. You can only do it with certain ships in certain directions, and I guess you could find, if you searched hard enough or worked it out, you could probably find ways of getting from an Aurora to a Idris or something if you did it that way, maybe. But I'm sure there's upgrade paths, but
yeah, but I think that would end up being quite more expensive than if you actually just went out and bought an Idris.
Potentially, yeah. Yep.
But anyway, I think that is it for this episode of Fortnightly Frontier. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and all the other hoop-de-doo that is done on the internet.
Jazzy wares.
Yeah, that thing, yeah.
That's gonna trigger YouTube. Bullshit.
No, we already had one of those.
Yeah.
We actually had a copyright notice on the previous episode of Fortnightly Frontier, even though all the music that is in the episode is free of copyright and free of royalty. So
yeah, and it's the exit music that we've used in every single other episode for like the last 20 or something.
And it is the music that is going to start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
So, what am I doing?
What have we got in store? What? You're doing the rundown.
Yeah, I was waiting to be introduced.